and viewers, welcome to another insightful episode of the Psych Talks. I'm your host Kirti Garg, a practicing psychologist and also the founder of the PsyK Life. The PsyK Life is a space where we provide quality education, courses, trainings, internships to psychology students, and we also offer affordable counseling and therapy services. So if you or a loved one is looking for help, feel free to reach out at www.thepsychlife.com. I hope all of you have been watching our episodes and enjoying them, and after several requests, we finally have a tailor-made episode for psychology students and aspiring mental health professionals. Navigating through the field of psychology can definitely seem like a maze, and therefore we have two brilliant minds today helping us get through the same. So let me introduce the guests for today. We have Miss Akshitara and Miss Chetna. Akshitara, and both of them are popularly known as the Desi Psychologist. Akshitara is currently pursuing her MPhil degree, and Chetna is pursuing her master's degree in psychology. I'm very glad to have both of you. How are we doing today?
Doing good.
Okay.
Excited.
Yeah. Yes. So both of you have been in this field, like you have been contributing since years now. Let's start by maybe just understanding what do you think about a podcast on mental health and psychology. What are your views around something that you're doing today?
I think conversations are important, and as much as we have those conversations on the internet, it's also important that we start having podcasts as well. I think this was not something which was tapped enough, and I think we.
I told Katie when we had the first talk, like we are also planning to do that, but good step. Like this was needed in the field. Like awesome. I don't see it happening, and this is something is happening a lot in the West, not in India, and that is where the gap is. So
and also like the podcast thing will start initiating conversations. Like usually conversations we spread information through internet and social media, but having those real raw conversations is something which the mental health community is also missing in. So I think that is a very great step.
And I'm glad to have both of you to the Psych Talks. I'm sure that with the wisdom you bring in today, the experiences you bring in today, our audience will, the viewers and listeners will definitely benefit. Let's start by Desi Psychologist. ये नाम कहाँ से आया? And I know both of you have met in your bachelors. I know IP college के आप दोनों, your alumni. But what was it about each other that clicked you the most, and how did you start with Desi?
So basically, we were in our bachelors, and we always wanted to. So with us, हम ऐसे stats का भी जब पेपर कर रहे होते थे या कुछ भी होता था, तो आधा काम ऐसे बटा हुआ है कि you do the calculation, I do this, and till the time I do this, you do this. So it was so much in sync and so much in vibe कि we almost can say that we could read each other's minds.
Right. पूरी डिग्री साथ की है दोनों ने मिलकर एक दूसरे का हाथ पकड़ के.
हाँ मतलब बोलते ना कि एक दूसरे को हमेशा संभाला भी है, and it was always like कि she is my person, I am her person. We always clicked. Like कोई तीसरा कोई बात भी कर रहा होता था तो हमें पता था कि वो क्या बात है और हम दोनों के मन में क्या चल रहा है. It was always the same. Okay. So I think that is something which clicked. And one day, of course, when we were talking, and I was like, listen, let's do something. And
it was the COVID time.
So and then I knew that she's the one that I want to start this with. And before I could ask her, like literally we had this whole video call. And
G-Meet. It wasn't a video call. It was a G-Meet.
We did a G-Meet to we were like I want to talk about something.
Chetna basically texted me that what are you doing in the evening? I said nothing. Stuck at home. What can a person do? So she said let's be on a G-Meet. Like post dinner. So I did not know. And the whole conversation was like ऐसी चल रही है, talking about people at college, talking about other things, guys and everything. And then Chetna basically told, I was thinking like something this sort of
let's do something. And then I wanted to ask her, I wanted to pose that question. Will you do this with me? And before I could...
Was it like proposing to the other?
Before she could
ask also, I was like, oh, do you want to do it together? Like, you don't mind that? I can also do it.
I was like,
yes. It was an instinct thing
for
both of you.
Very good. And then in this conversation, I think it really made us happy. Like now, we both are going to start something new. And then we were like कि हमने आराम से करनी है, हमको इसे जल्दीबाजी नहीं करनी. 1-1.5 महीना लेंगे, सब चीजें देखेंगे क्या करना है क्या डालना है.
And we took good 1 month.
हाँ,
before we made the account. The day we decided on the name, we made the account, but we never.
Let's come to the name. Desi Psychologist.
So, as me and Chetna, we're not the most serious people.
Okay.
We are when times require, but as people, we are very fun people. Both of us.
I get that vibe, you know.
Both of us, and like when we are together, then though it's another thing only. But that's how when we were coming up with names. Like initially, we were doing very like बहुत ज़्यादा serious names.
Empowered,
we did go through these usernames that were very in during that time.
Yeah.
I personally remember.
And very serious name. Then we sat, what did we say? And the exact word is something that we use आज तक कि ना ये ना कुछ बन नहीं रहा. We need something quirky.
Yeah.
So we were revolving around the quirky thing. And then like another side of why Desi Psychologist is because we provide a very Indian aspect to it. Like what is relatable to most of the people
in India, like the Desi-ness.
Right.
Also, like I remember us making a WhatsApp group, and वहाँ पे हम सब नाम भेजते थे जो हमें ऐसे पसंद आ रहे होते थे. तो I still have that screenshot जिसमें इतने सारे नाम हैं. And then when that Desi Psychologist came, no, we both were like this. We both were 100% sure that this is something that we are gonna.
It just clicked for both of you together.
I think that's how it all just started.
Awesome. And I'm glad that the Desi Psychologists are with us today.
But tell me this also, like why PsyK Life? Like we also want to know.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So, just like you, I was also brainstorming on names, and so you are lucky. You're two of you. Okay. So I was doing it on an individual level, and that is when I realized that. So I was sure that psychology is something which is very close to me, and I was also sure that this is going to be a part of my life forever. So that's how PsyK Life came in. Now the catch is the K, which basically denotes Kirti.
Yeah.
So I thought the pronunciation still remains the same as PsyK Life, but instead of CH we can put a K, and that's how we made
An
it.
element of yours.
Yes.
Very personalized it is to you.
Yes. I think just like we have boat with an A, Aman Gupta. So I think I understand that today when I see the name, but that is how it came in. And glad that you asked that. We would love to talk more about what scope is there in this field, and a lot more about the preparation strategies, entrances, and all of that too. So how about you share a little bit between the difference between counseling and clinical psychology? Not just in terms of कि एक psychiatrist बनता है, not the basic one, but more in the sense of the pros and cons. What do we see individuals benefiting from in the field of counseling as compared to clinical, and vice versa?
Okay. So basically, when we talk about clinical counseling, we have done internships and training in clinical aspect as well and in counseling aspect as well. So if I talk in very raw terms, हमारे जो daily life issues होते हैं, self esteem हो रहा है, breakup है, family issues है, academic stress है. So these are issues जो I think everyone goes through.
Right.
And for that, we usually prefer and seek a counseling psychologist. Because in counseling psychology, there are various therapeutic approaches. And not that it's not there in clinical, but I think the approaches, the talk, the questions, the reflection, the affirmations, and all the things that come in are more of reflective state.
Right.
So that is something that defines counseling psychology. Like you're counseling, you're providing guidance as well.
Right.
But not in advice form, but at the same time helping others to help themselves.
Yes.
But in clinical, we usually talk about the more serious and more severe disorders. So anxiety and depression, I think, are very common. But not that the counseling wale deal nahi karte. Counseling psychologists also.
It's a severity.
Yeah.
As a practicing psychologist myself,
Right.
we make sure that we do this. Ki counseling is more about mind. It's more about the moderate severity, whether it's depression, whether it's anxiety. And the same thing when it becomes severe, it is the clinical psychologist that comes in.
Because I think if I give an example, I think it would be better. So if a person is having suicidal tendencies, now no matter how much you try to talk to them at that particular time, you might be able to help them. But if a person is impulsive, so there he might need
Clinical
medications.
help, right.
Right. And with medications come the psychiatry aspect as well.
Right.
But I think that is the domain of clinical psychologist more than the counseling psychologist. So I think clinical psychology with more severe issues
And like they're trained also differently.
Yeah.
Like clinical psychologists, I'm not saying any field is like up
Lesser,
lesser
right.
or more than anyone. like every field has their own key points. Okay.
You are pursuing your MPhil right
Yeah,
now.
I'm doing that.
Help me understand your training. How is this training different from that of a counseling?
Yeah. Okay. So it's been. I've recently started with my MPhil, so it's been a month only. We are yet to start with our postings. We're just in the 1 month. It has been just an orientation and how the transformation is gonna be, because a MPhil degree is nowhere equivalent to what we do in our masters. Okay, it is
It's more severe.
It's more severe. You're not doing just an academic degree. It's a professional degree.
Right.
So I was recently talking about this on TDP also, that the teachers also, they don't treat you as students anymore. They treat you as future clinicians.
And they've already started seeing you as professionals.
Yeah.
That you have the, and at a point you are a professional. Somebody किसी ने मास्टर्स कर ली है, वो वैसे ही काउंसलिंग साइकोलॉजिस्ट इतना प्रोफेशनल तो वो हो ही चुका है.
Even if when we are going in the field, our professors they accompany us. So in front of patients, in front of the staff, they always refer to the MPhil trainees also as ma'am and sir. They never call us by our names also.
Right.
Akshatara come over here. They would also say Akshatara ma'am के पास चले जाओ to a patient. So that is a very, and it comes with a lot of responsibility also. So it's not like at ki masters mein jab man chaha you take off, okay. But when you have 2 sessions scheduled on another day, you cannot miss your posting.
Right.
So that has been my experience. Coming back to the counseling and the clinical difference, I feel that yes, therapy is important for both of the fields, and yes, counseling psychologists, they focus a lot more on the therapeutic aspect of it. Not that clinical psychologists don't, but the whole difference is that when it comes to clinical psychology, the field of psychiatry comes into the play, and it's not just, you're not dealing with someone who has been facing grief or
just environmental factors, but biological reasons and
factors
neurotransmitters
also.
Right.
They already have an illness.
Right.
And
it's already severe.
Yeah.
It's not like हम prevention वाले stage पर है.
And then you have all these other factors also that impacts a person. For someone who has been facing problems with thoughts and cognitive issues, or have schizophrenia for the last 10 years, so obviously depression is gonna be there.
Right.
So it's not just one level.
There's lots of comorbidities.
Yeah.
That's what we call it.
Exactly.
So I also see that you are into MPhil now and आप masters कर रहे हैं. There have been different degrees that a psychology student can do, and हर degree के साथ अपने challenges आ रहे हैं, अपनी preparation required होती है. I want your insights, and I'm sure all the psychology students watching us would want to know कि हम ये exams crack कैसे करें, and इन exams का exactly pattern क्या होता है.
Okay, so coming to entrances.
Okay.
So both of us were very scared about entrances, because when we got into our bachelor's, we got through merit.
Right.
Yeah.
And I got into North Campus also by merit.
Right.
And then giving entrances and like net also, it was very difficult to just wrap your head around the whole concept कि entrance देते ही कैसे, because इतने सालों से हम लिख रहे हैं subjective exams, ठीक है, जिसमें तुम्हें 15 मार्क्स के आंसर्स लिखने हैं, everything has to
पेज भरने
हैं, and then उस preparation is very different when it like as compared to entrance preparation. You have to be very on the point. Okay, you cannot, बहुत बार subjective exams में ये होता है कि you have the leeway कि you can just formulate things इधर उधर अपने आप से. Entrances में you cannot do this, and then you cannot study like this also because the paper pattern is different.
Right.
So a lot of initially also, but what mistake I made was this only कि मैं पढ़ तो रही थी, but मैं subjective की तरह पढ़ रही थी to
rather
give
than objective.
हाँ, exam pattern अगर तुम्हारा objective है, so that is the whole thing. When you're बहुत सारे बच्चे the biggest mistake they make, and even I did this DUET के टाइम पे, was this कि तुम सारी किताबें निकालो और तुम वो पढ़ना शुरू करो, ठीक है?
I think that is what people teach us.
That's the wrong way to go about it.
Personally, हम लोगों के साथ हुआ.
It
did not work for me also, and I think it is you do it when you have a year. ठीक है, when you are
But not many of us start एक साल पहले.
हाँ, अगर तुम्हारे पास 3 महीने हैं, you don't have this luxury जहाँ पे तुम
सारी
अगर
books
तुम्हें
पढ़
डेवलपमेंटल पढ़नी हो तुम पूरी लॉरा वर्क पढ़ने बैठ रहे हो,
नहीं
that
कर
is
पाओगे.
not gonna work for you.
Right.
What books you should go through as your general psychology books, definitely.
I
That is
think before general psychology,
Yeah,
11th, 12th.
your NCRT.
Yeah, I think they are your Bible,
Bible.
when it comes to it. Like even होता है ना कि you get very overwhelmed by the whole process. But 11th 12th की psychology is so ingrained in us कि हम एक बार वो go through करते हैं हमें पता है कि कौन सी चीज कहाँ है. Like आज तक
And somewhere we know कि ये पढ़ा हुआ है मेरे को आता है कुछ. You get that push.
gives you the confidence
Yes.
to go about it.
Exactly.
So that is like recently also we conducted webinars on MPhil and net,
Net,
ugc-net. So that is what I told everyone कि the process is so overwhelming, you need to find your comfort books.
Right.
So when you were talking about general psychology also, a lot of people prefer कि Cicerelli करते हैं.
Balance is very.
I never took up Cicerelli. And like a lot of people were very skeptical about it also कि तू Cicerelli क्यों नहीं पढ़ रही है? That is
कैसे करेगी?
हाँ. So what I did was हम लोगों ने UG में we did everything for passive and that was my comfort book. मुझे वो पता है वो book, I know it inside out. मेरे अपनी notes
पे
बने
क्या है,
हैं. ठीक है, I know everything about that book. So I followed passive.
Okay.
So that is the whole thing. You are not supposed to go through every book. You're supposed to.
And exactly objective questions कैसे निकालें?
So
Is it just the bold ones जो book में दिखते हैं that they should be focusing
no,
on?
I think it's a very back and forth process.
Yeah.
So हम लोग हमेशा अपने भी like when we are talking about these things, we always tell them that it's a back and forth. It's not like you have to read the entire book and then आखिरी 1-2 हफ्ते में you have to start solving the question paper. You get a basic grasp of your NCRT and Passons with or whatever book like you know you are comfortable with, and when you are थोड़ा सा confident कि चलो ठीक है अब कुछ information में पता है, you then start solving questions.
Okay.
अब क्या होता है कि when you are seeing a question, you are not just seeing a question, you are seeing 4 different options as well.
There are 4 concepts in different.
And ऐसा कई बार होता है like even when I was preparing for my entrances for my masters, like I did Christ, JMI and all. So then I also realized कि जब तुम question को देखते हो उसके बाद जो तुम्हारे 4 options होते हैं, अगर एक आंसर तुम्हारा सही भी आया है, don't go to the next question. Search think about the next 3 options as well because
कि do I know what these 3 means?
Exactly.
मेरे को उनका मतलब पता था. I knew कि ये गलत कैसे हैं और क्या
right.
सही है.
And then you go back to your books. मतलब obviously you
हाँ.
do your paper and then you go back to your books. You see
A lot of people also say that question करना शुरू कर दो, ठीक है?
Question करना.
Question papers करना
अच्छा,
शुरू.
solve
Like when I
करना.
was preparing for my ugc-net, so I cleared it this time, June.
Okay.
But I also gave a March वाला attempt, which I couldn't clear with like 2-3 numbers.
ठीक है.
But उस टाइम पे मेरे को initially लोगों ने ये बोला कि you have been studying psychology, तो बस question practice करना शुरू कर दो. That does not work like this. So whatever I always tell, जैसे अगर तुम दिन में 2 घंटे दे रहे हो, like example, so 1 hour you study your theory and then you practice उसी के questions. So it is supposed to be
domain
50-50.
wise. I think categorize it,
Domain
do
wise.
it domain
And
wise.
practice कहाँ से करें? Where do people get these resources from? The books.
So
What
there are
books
a
do
lot
you
of
recommend?
books. Okay, लोग usually power within prefer करते हैं, ठीक है? And I also I was preparing from power within only for my MPhil.
Okay.
Power within की the resource material they provide is really nice. They have different like units,
Okay.
and then they have
Hard questions.
and then they also have previous year questions.
Okay.
So that is where you get the question bank from. For like net and everything, DUET के भी बहुत सारे papers NTA की site पे हैं. And what is the advantage with that is that they provide you the interface of the CBT. So that is also very important कि तुम्हें पता होना चाहिए कि जब तुम एंट्रेंस देने बैठोगे तो स्क्रीन लगेगी कैसे, ठीक है?
हमें क्या comfortable है.
बहुत बार नेट में किसी भी जहाँ CBT होता है रॉन्ग क्लिक से इतना खत्म होता है. जब मैंने पहली बार करके देखा था and then I checked, then I realized मेरे कम से कम 9-10 क्वेश्चन तो मैंने रॉन्ग क्लिक किए हुए हैं.
You knew the answer, but
हाँ, वो क्लिक गलत हो गया है.
I think that definitely helps about the preparation part, the little tips and tricks that you could help our viewers with. I also want to know कि हमने डिग्री कर ली, whether it's a master's, whether it's an MPhil, whether it's a bachelor's, whatever degree हमने कर ली, and when we are going in the field to practice, do you think there's a gap between that? between what is taught?
Yeah.
I think not after MPhil, because
Okay.
MPhil is a training
Right.
degree only. So after MPhil, I don't think there's a very essential
Right,
need for
right.
training. But like there also you need specific training. So you have been trained in clinical psychology, so you have the training for that. But some specific
Therapies or some specific testing
area
assessments.
might be there जहाँ पे you would need. But I think masters के बाद तो it's must.
Okay. I think I will use the space to share with our viewers and listeners that PsyK Life, this is exactly what we do. We share, we are internationally accredited. So we have a lot of courses, a lot of trainings, internships for students. And this is exactly what we are working on, bridging on that gap, What do you have to say, how important that is, and how can one decide कि किस training में invest करें या नहीं invest करें?
I think a lot depends on the sort of specialization also you want to
Okay.
do. So when we were in our bachelor's, we were confused that whether you were confused between organization.
OB
I think
and
we
clinical.
both were
OB and
confused
clinical.
between
Right.
OB and
Every
clinical.
psychologist.
जितना exposure था उसके according
हाँ.
हम confused थे कि इसमें जाएं इसमें
Right. So I think we both decided that we're gonna do an internship or a training program. So there was this one clinical psychology internship we did together,
Okay.
and then in organization psychology she did at a different place, I did at a different place. So we both gained that exposure कि हमें दोनों की पता है कि exactly होता क्या है.
Right.
Now we decide कि अच्छा if it goes with our personality or this is something we can do or this is something we want to do, like the interest aspect as well. And then I think both of us ended up with the clinical.
Very unconscious.
Yeah.
Consciously and unconsciously.
And unconsciously.
It was your calling. Huh?
Yeah, it was our calling.
But I would also, sorry Shilpa to cut you, but I also think the resource person is also very important.
Yeah.
कि when there are a lot of DMs like we get कि is this training we should go for, क्या हम ये course करें. So obviously the training is very important, but not
Who is giving that
Giving
training
it
is
is
what?
Facilitator.
हाँ.
I think it's very important when you are coming across these training programs, you check the background of the facilitator. कि उनका knowledge level, उनकी specialization और उनके past sessions है. Like I think अब तो हर चीज Instagram पे बहुत easily available है. तो you
Their
can
LinkedIn handles or
Exactly.
just their profiles.
So I think that bridging gap wala aspect definitely, like if now suppose I am more interested in dealing with cases with grief, तो grief cycle तो हमें पता चल गई है theory में.
ढाबा मॉडल पता चल गया.
Yeah, grief cycle पता लगी कि
Right.
अच्छा ये चीजें होती हैं. But how to tap into those aspects, how to provide that space for our client where we can tap into the grief cycle by not even like sometimes not making them aware that you are in grief.
Right.
But acknowledgement is an aspect, and how you bridge that gap is through that training.
Again, so degree ने सिखा दिया है कि ये मॉडल होता है,
Theoretically
but जब
सारा
करते हैं there is a gap. I think exactly relating to what all of you are saying, both of you are saying, 3 pointers that at PsyK Life I make sure to let the audience, students know is, number 1, always check the curriculum. So ये trainings courses बहुत हैं आजकल. So it shouldn't be a 2-day thing, it shouldn't be a 3-day thing. It should be intensive. Number 1 that. Number 2, like both of you beautifully mentioned, इंस्ट्रक्टर कौन है, हमारा फैसिलिटेटर कौन है, उनकी क्रेडेंशियल्स हैं नहीं हैं, डू दे हैव एन एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ टीचिंग और नॉट. एंड नंबर 3 ऑब्वियसली द फीडबैक्स. आई थिंक दैट इज आल्सो वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. जैसे हम कॉलेजेस सेलेक्ट करते हैं, वी ऑलवेज आस्क एलुमनाई कैसा एक्सपीरियंस रहा, कैसा नहीं. I would come to the last question, okay, for both of you. Something that I've admired in both of you is your networking skills. So I see that you have a good network, and even though we just started recently or we are still studying, irrespective of the other factors, our network is quite strong. I want to ask you कि LinkedIn मत बोलना.
LinkedIn very interesting.
Yes, LinkedIn के अलावा what is that route through which students and professionals can start connecting more और अपना network strong कैसे करें? How important is networking?
I would say that school तक, college तक ना, it looks very good. ठीक है, सब कुछ चीज़ है. But when you get out of the field, not just among psychology, you need different people from different fields. Like हम भी काम कर रहे होते हैं, तो a lot of times चेतना says, oh one of my friends is a lawyer, she's doing her law, so अच्छा हम उसको बुला लेते हैं, ठीक है. So it is a very collaborative approach. About कि how can students network is number 1, obviously people in your class you should be in very good contact. Not obviously you cannot be in good terms with everyone,
Right.
but these are the people you're gonna see in the field. these are your seniors, your juniors, your professors, and like
Your
classmates.
everybody.
So that is one thing. That is true. Another thing is that we also do that. We have started to create space where people can network only.
Okay.
So every month, we try at least every month. We have just done it once a week.
We also did it
Twice.
recently, and we were talking about the meetup.
Yeah.
We just
Okay.
Meetup.
I'm also talking about the Discord community.
Ha, Discord also we are running.
Okay.
You explain the Discord thing.
You do the meetup thing as well as Discord.
Divided. हाँ, but I was just saying कि उन meetups पे भी it was so nice and bachelor students, especially bachelor students, उनको नहीं मिलती है जगह कि they can meet professionals. Like हमने अभी हॉस्कास्ट में जब किया था, we had 10 psychologists in board. और जो especially जो BA वाले बच्चे थे, they were so excited about it, and it was so beautiful to see. Like it was very privileged for us कि we can provide someone a space जहाँ से they have a meaningful connection. Even with me and Chetna also. So a lot of students reach out to us. A lot of students
They get to meet you as well as other people. You know? This is exactly what we have also called the psychology club. ठीक है, तो this is also exactly meetups only. हम उसे long term में कर रहे हैं. It's not कि एक महीना करा नहीं करा. We have planned and we've also initiated it. तो हम हर महीने we're doing meetups with psychology students. Again, bachelors, masters, professionals. Just everybody coming in together. I think that vibe is crazy. You know.
Yeah.
So we were talking about networking. And you mentioned कि हमारे seniors, teachers, collaboration. We mentioned about the importance of that. Maybe meetups like these. Are there any more practical hacks that you would provide for
Definitely.
networking?
I think on a very personal level, talk to people. I know it's difficult for some people, but getting out of that comfort zone in these years of your life, like जब तुम्हारे 20s होते हैं ना, इसमें you have the maximum exposure.
Right.
Take the best, make the best use out of it. I know it might sound awkward for some people, which is true.
And how do you start those conversations? What do you talk about?
Oh, Chetna is a pro at it. Very honestly, very candidly, I'm gonna say that I was just telling you earlier, so me and Chetna are very different people per se. So I'm not it took a lot of time for Chetna to get me out of my shell.
Yeah.
And she's still on it.
But so, Chetna, how do you start such conversations?
You're looking very pretty.
Just with a compliment, probably.
And genuinely, I mean those compliments very genuinely. And I remember I was at the metro station and two girls were there and they were looking at my outfit and like they complimented me. So I was like, oh, you're also looking very pretty. Then we started getting into the conversation what I'm doing, and one of them was from psychology. It's like, oh, psychology.
Small word.
And it's not just that. There's so many aspects that you can cover also. And like personal level, I would just say कि try talking to people in your class, because हमारे college में भी ऐसा होता था कि there were groups. I think वो हर college में भी होता है.
हर class.
But I think it's important कि groups के अलावा भी तुम हर group से किसी at least एक बंदे से connected करना. I think that is also something.
And what is the power of social media and digital platforms when it comes to networking?
I think share your highs and lows, share your good parts and sad parts. हम लोगों ने हमेशा किया है. I guess we
There will be
faced.
people जो उनसे relate करेंगे.
Exactly. I think showing our personal journeys. I know it puts us at a spot, and I know that there are so many people who are just waiting कि अच्छी गलती करें and we just call them out.
And ऐसा नहीं है, हुआ भी है. कभी-कभी हमारे साथ होता है.
Like I tell you, should I share that
Yeah.
incident? So we were young, we started, and there was this caption on a post. We said that ladies and gentlemen,
Attention ladies and
हाँ, attention ladies and gentlemen. अब हमारा तो होता है ना जैसे like usually speech में बोलते हैं ladies and gentlemen. So someone
It
close to
wasn't
me.
inclusive probably.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Someone close to me just pointed it out. I was like, we never thought of
Thought
it
of it.
एकदम से because we are so conditioned.
Right.
तो ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि हमने mistakes नहीं किया. But फिर ये है कि हमने जो mistakes किया हमने कभी repeat नहीं किया.
You made new ones, not
New
the
ones.
same ones.
Yeah.
And that's a win, I think.
That is. I think these are some quite doable things that all of us can do in order to network better. Thank you so much for your lovely insights.
Thank you so much
And
for asking us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a very fun and informative conversation.
I had hoped for one, and I'm sure that both of you got that in. Okay, thank you so much for all the lovely conversations we had. अब मेरे पास एक बहुत ही fun game है. Actually दो games हैं आप दोनों के. And I've been preparing really hard for them, so let's see how it goes.
So we're excited.
Yeah. So the first game is name three. Okay. So what is going to happen is I'll ask the first question to Chetna, and then to Tara.
Can we connect it?
Okay. Yes, you can, and we just have to be very fast and prompt. Okay. So don't get scared. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's scary. It's like
It's conscious.
rapid fire.
Okay, so we'll start. My first question to both of you would be 3 top colleges for masters in psychology in India.
Is Christ Bangalore.
Okay.
Yeah. And
AUD, मतलब
AUD from the psychosocial.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. 3 books every psychology student should read. Academic books.
Cicerelli,
Passer,
passive /
Okay.
Cicerelli,
King and Minium for stats.
and ugc-net for research.
Okay. 3 upcoming fields in psychology.
Forensic, neuropsych.
And sports.
Okay. We do have an advanced course happening in forensics though. So I think this is a good place to mention that. Okay. 3 mistakes that psychology students make while preparing for exams.
The one we mentioned, going through the entire books, reading and not solving questions side by
Not
side.
making their own notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And और क्या हो सकती है? हमने क्या गलती है?
Not maybe studying the pattern.
Not studying the whole year. Like not every day, but I think it's a continuous process. Like,
Okay. 3 effective study habits.
one I just mentioned. That is very effective.
Okay.
You cannot, psychology is something you cannot leave कि मैं 2 दिन में कर लूँगा या कर लूँगी. Does not work.
ठीक है.
Time management
Okay.
and incorporating other fields
Other-
with
yeah.
your psychology.
Also making sure that you're also checking with the people who have done. So मतलब having a base by talking to other people who have given those exams. And
ठीक है. 3 challenges any entrepreneur faces.
ये तो
Investment.
Investment, ठीक है.
investment. Then I think
Knowledge about the whole entrepreneurship.
the business aspect.
Business
Like coming from
aspect.
psychology, you don't know
We knew
business
nothing.
valuation. ये तो Shark Tank आया तो इससे
तब
हाँ.
पता चला है कि अच्छा होता क्या है.
Yeah, and at the same time, I think having a team which trusts you.
Okay.
ठीक
So
है?
building that team could be a challenge. basically. ठीक है. 3 strategies to manage your time well.
I think sleep early. मतलब genuinely saying अगर तुम 11-12 बजे के बीच सो जाओ तो वो जो नींद तुम्हें मिलती है, you can start your day a little early and you can plan things out. I know ये बहुत ही मुश्किल होता है implement करना, बोलना बहुत आसान होता है, but this is genuinely that works.
Okay.
सबसे ज़्यादा. In your day, give time to every domain.
I completely agree.
That is something like you should have your family time, you should have your me time, you should have your study. Obviously, जैसे exam days हैं तो like the study can be more.
I say this that don't wait for Saturdays and Sundays to
हाँ.
give breaks. Give yourself breaks every day. आप हर दिन breaks दो. Saturday Sunday को work करो. That's okay. You won't feel that exhausted.
Exactly.
And the third one.
I think क्या पूछा था?
3 strategies to manage time well.
I think that self-care time.
Okay.
कि you listen to music, go on a walk, or do whatever you like as a part of yourself.
Okay. 3 ways to build your brand. So we all know Desi Psychologist today. So tell me 3 ways जिससे आपने brand.
Be your brand ambassador.
Yeah.
Number 1.
Second, just adding on to this, shamelessly talk about what you do because you don't know, but you actually inspire a lot of people.
Share your personal aspects.
Share
Share your
personal
journeys.
We don't feel कि यार हम बहुत ज़्यादा दिखा रहे हैं नहीं.
Even small things. Small things.
Small things.
Okay. Last question. 3 business ideas in the field of psychology that you think can give really good earning opportunities.
I think there is a need for the supervision and mentoring programs because master students after they complete they don't have that much direction.
Right. I agree. Somebody doing this, I completely relate. Supervision as well as observership for that matter. Bachelor students को एक platform देना. ठीक है. What else?
And
Business ideas.
business ideas.
I think अब ना बहुत common हो गया. Like the whole thing is कि okay you are building your brand, we are doing it. There are 10 other people who are doing it. But on the base root level ना सबकी services are gonna be the same.
Okay.
But
That's okay. हमें all of a sudden नया कुछ नहीं चाहिए, but just business.
but also we think कि pro bono की ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है.
ठीक है.
Pro bono अभी कम चल रहा है.
Right.
ठीक है. And the whole thing is ना pro bono चल भी बहुत superficial level पे रहा है. ठीक है,
हाँ,
even we
बस
are doing
बोलते
it.
हैं, right.
ठीक है, I'm not thinking we are doing it on a superficial level, but the thing is कि where are we getting our clients from? We are discussing this with our clinical psychologist recently. Instagram से मिल रहे हैं. It's a very privileged population over there.
Yeah.
Yes.
You do not get pro bono clients from, I mean, ठीक है, there are school students or college students, they get pocket money as well. But pro bono eventually was introduced for marginalized people. So even like now we are starting with the therapy, so like we have started. तो हमारे pro bono ऐसे नहीं कि जिन्होंने भर्ती कर दी. We inquire, we talk to them, we see if they are a fit for, and we have certain criteria. We have prepared certain
And there are
criteria
so
and
many
talks with
people who, like we have explained, like the first phase in which we did, तो तब तो me and Chetna only used to call the potential guy. So we used to explain them कि like pro bono है क्या. So they themselves agreed to well move to sliding scale and give their pro bono slot to someone who actually would
people
need
do
it.
that as well.
I think as a practicing professional, even I make sure कि मैं हफ्ते का एक client तो pro bono ले ही रही हूँ, because there are people who need help.
I think वो stigma reduce करने के लिए थोड़ा सा sacrifice हमें करना पड़ेगा. And I know कि for some people it's like कि सिर्फ clients लेने हैं, पैसे कमाने हैं, but I think it's important कि हम थोड़ा सा normalize भी.
I like how हम game खेलते serious conversation में चले गए हैं. But okay, this was the name 3 things. Now the second one is more fun and you won't be on that, pedestal. Okay, so the game is, have you heard of Taboo? It's a game. So Taboo is what? There is going to be a card and there is going to be a word. So let's say my card says Freud and there are 4 words that I cannot speak to explain you Freud. ठीक है, तो मुझे आपको Freud बुलवाना है आपसे, but मैं psychoanalysis, dreams, unconscious और Vienna नहीं बोल सकती.
Act करके
नहीं बोल के. So maybe I can say father. I can say father, or I can say psychosexual stages. I have to say something so that आप में से कोई Freud ले. Okay.
These are the words जो हम नहीं बोल सकते.
Yeah, so these are the taboo words which you're not allowed to say, and you have to explain the top one. Okay. So we have 9 cards here, and one by one each one of us will do this. The other 2 will. Fine. Do you want to start?
You start.
Fine, I'll just shuffle these so that randomly I push. Okay, I have my first word. Oh, this is a tricky one. Just like we have counseling psychologist, we have yes. So this is something that they help with. Okay.
Clinical psychologist.
Yes.
addiction.
More. It has to do with highs and lows.
Bipolar.
Say the complete thing.
Bipolar.
Yes, so bipolar disorder was the word. I could not say manic, depression, mood swing, psychiatrist.
Okay.
Understood?
Yeah.
Now Tara will do this.
I'm a little confused because so biopsychology, ठीक है? हाँ, neurons. What is the thing that is released from a neuron?
Action potential.
नहीं.
I know the word.
Neurotransmitter.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say GABA or something because dopamine or serotonin you mentioned, but I think बहुत direct हो जाता.
Right. Okay, your
Action
chance. Your chance. Explain it to Tara.
Achha. So positive psychology. And highest state, Maslow hierarchy.
The 7th one. Okay.
What is that? No. Like positive psychology and
That's the task.
being conscious, being present.
Being calm.
Mindfulness.
Yes.
That's the word. Okay.
Wow. I don't need to get
My chance. This is also interesting. It's a psychometric test. Okay. And it's given by Herman.
Roshan.
So say the complete thing.
The Sharkin book test.
Yes. Okay. Tara, your chance.
The concept you mentioned in the last question.
What action potential?
The question you were
She's
asking.
stuck on action potential.
The question you were asking, mindfulness wala.
Positive psychology.
हाँ, and other top.
Conscious, being conscious.
हाँ, उससे बीच में एक topic you mentioned.
I know the word now.
The triangle.
The master hierarchy.
Yeah.
Triangle wasn't written?
No, triangle.
Okay.
Pyramid was it?
Good.
The triangle. This is nice.
Okay, your chance.
So, 2 pills. One works. One doesn't.
That's you.
Yes.
Ooh, nice way of explaining. Okay. Again, a clinical psychologist would help with this. One of the most severe.
Schizophrenia.
Schizophrenia. Okay, yes. That was easy.
We all need.
We all need so many things.
Shelter.
Psychology related.
Internships.
Internship.
Everyone needs to go to.
Therapy.
Yeah.
Yo. Good. Chetna, last one.
Okay. So, remember the example she gave in the starting? Sleep.
Okay. Oh, how come that word is not written?
Sleep.
The examples would be.
Okay.
Huh.
What do we see in sleep?
Dreams. Dream analysis?
Yes. Okay. I think we did
Very
good.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy
This was
Yeah.
very
This was fun.
Yeah. It just came from the head, something creative. But it was fun. Yes.
Yeah.
I think with that we come to the end of today's episode, and it was lovely connecting with both of you.
Likewise, it was really good.
It was a very refreshing conversation for us also.
Yeah.
Right. And you did share a lot of important insights. So I'm sure it was informational and at the same time fun.
Fun.
You know, bringing in your desi aspect
Yeah,
of course.
we bring this only the fun and quirky aspect.
Quirky aspect. Yeah.
Right. So if anybody has any more questions related to entrances, preparation, field of psychology, I'm sure both of them would love to answer them. So you can put it in the comment section and
I don't know kahan dekhna hai.
okay. So thank you so much once again, and make sure to subscribe to our channel. We will be back with another episode super soon for all of you. Take care. Bye bye.